Ethereum is doing its best in order to push upwards, but it's not going to work. Hi, my name is Raji, and I do technical analysis for educational purposes and for fun as well. So, if we look at Ethereum right here, it is currently at 2263, which is above the 5-hour moving average line, which is 2249. However, it is below the 50-hour moving average line, which is 2287, which is a critical point that it needs to overtake. And you'll notice right here, it did overtake it a couple of times, but it fell back again. Now, if you look at the stochastic RSI, you'll notice that it's very weak bullish. It is above the signal by 2 points, 2.5 points, which is not much, and it was in the overbought zone and could potentially break downwards from here. So keep a close eye. The MACD is definitely trying to support it. You can see a dark green rectangle showing up. However, it is not really strong, and it could obviously fall from here as well. Um, so the big question is whether it can actually break through the 50-hour moving average line and continue on going upwards, ideally towards the 200-hour moving average line, which is 2642. And I don't believe that's going to happen. And I'll tell you why. Actually, the answer resides in the weekly chart, but I'll take you through the daily first. And you'll notice the daily looks okay, actually, right here. From a stochastic RSI perspective, it is 4.68 points above the signal. So it still has room. And if it can push upwards, it will push into the towards the zone of the overbought. However, it is going to face a strong push downwards from the 5-day moving average line, which is at 2311 right now. And you can draw a line right here, and you'll notice is the falling trend line. And the falling trend line is also going to try to suppress the price downwards. Even if it manages to go beyond that, I think it's going to struggle to actually overtake the 50-day moving average line, which is at 2967. I don't think it's going to even come close to that. Um, but we'll keep a close eye and we'll monitor. Having said that, the MACD is definitely trying to help it out. Again, we're starting to see light pink rectangles, which if they continue to decrease in size, that will mean that the stochastic RSI will push upwards and the price will push upwards. Can it actually sustain momentum? I don't know. I don't think so. If we look at the weekly chart, which is what I indicated earlier, you'll notice that it's quite bearish. It is the stochastic RSI is heading straight into the oversold area, and it's 15 points ahead of the signal. So the signal still has time to catch up with the stochastic RSI, and unfortunately, if anything, that's an indication that it could potentially fall even further. And then for those who recognize patterns, you'll notice that right here there's a head and shoulder, and there's another shoulder right here. Now, is it going to be able to drop um, or push upwards? That's the $1 million question. Right now, it doesn't look great from that perspective. From a MACD as well, you'll notice dark red rectangles increasing in size. Again, that's a bearish sign. And if we look at the monthly, you'll notice that it's also um, bearish. However, it is trying to recover, but we're early on in the month, so if anything, that's another indication that it could push downwards even further. Um, the end of the month is obviously February 28th, so still has time. And you look at the MACD increasing size of dark red, which again is not very comforting. So, from my perspective, I don't think Ethereum is going to be able to push upwards that much. I think it will push downwards, and definitely, if we look at the daily just to predict some pricing, um, the first strong support is going to be at 21.28, followed by 2046. So 2046 is in play. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you do enjoy this content, so then please like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. And drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Have a great day.